Again, my name is Sydney Monaghan. I am the Director of Programs, and I am going to share my screen. I won't be able to see you all. So again, my colleagues will be in the chat. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them away. And if they can't get the answer, then they will make sure that I know that you have a question. But here we are. I'm sharing my screen. All right. Vanessa, you're the only person I can see. So give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right. That was good. All right, so here we are, first swipe session of the semester. Welcome, Swipe 101, right? We are all college professionals. We are very familiar with what 101 means, and that's what this is. Swipe 101, the beginnings, the basics. This is who we are, right? This session will be recorded, so when I send the slide deck at the end, just know that you will be able to go back and read and watch over what we're doing. Would help if I could click next. Okay, there we go. So today's agenda, we're going to do some introductions. We're going to give you the timeline of college hunger, how Swipe Out began, and what Swipe Out looks like now. We're also going to talk a little bit about student engagement, the advocacy programs, some resources, and then we're going to conclude with question and answers, okay? To start off with the introductions, while I introduce you all to our new Vice President of Mission Impact, Vanessa Onstadt, I also want you all to drop into the chat your name, your title, your pronoun, what institution you're from, and then funny question, I want to know how long have you been a Swipe Out Hunger member? Was it BC before COVID or AC after COVID? Because I think that that is a pivotal moment in our life cycle, right? Where things either took a turn where we got to know more people or a turn for the worse where we lost touch with the ones that we originally knew. So I just want to know who was here before COVID and who joined us after COVID. And then I'm going to turn this over to Vanessa so Vanessa can introduce herself while I poke around in the chat.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Onstad. Thank you, Sydney, for introducing me. I am the Vice President of Mission Impact for Swipe Out Hunger. And last week I made 1 month. So I'm sure you guys all can assume that I am AC after COVID. Before Swipe Out Hunger, I worked in basic needs. It has been the focus for basically the last 8 years of my life. I used to work in housing and housing security and homeless services, benefits. And then prior to that, I used to work in intellectual and developmental disabilities here in New Orleans. I recently moved from San Diego back to New Orleans. As you can see, this isn't my real background, but I imagine it is. And I'm really, really happy to be here at Swipe Out Hunger. My pronouns are she and they. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Thank you
guys for having me.
Thank you. And we are very happy to have Vanessa. So thank you for your introduction. Again, introduce yourself. I'm just excited to look at the chat to find out who was here, BC or AC. But without further ado, let's jump in. A little bit of, our timeline at Swipe Out Hunger. We were founded in 2010 on the campus of UCLA. We were founded by students and students who said, wait a minute, there's some problems here. We see our classmates, we see homeless people around the campus. We want to use these extra swipes, these extra meal swipes we have to, kind of donate and give away. And boy, did that blow up. That grew into something really, really big. Until where they were, the group of students were encompassing other campuses, and meal swipe programs were spreading across the country. So much so, Cyber Hunger then got involved in the advocacy world, and they authored what is now called the Hunger Free Campus Bill. It passed in 2017, and the first state was in California with 7.5 million. And so again, if you were here before COVID, you remember these early stages of Swipe Out Hunger where we were very solely only focused on the meal swipe donation program. But then COVID came. And so with COVID, Swipe Out Hunger acquired the KUFA organization, which is the College and University Food Bank Alliance. So as you know, although Swipe Out Hunger was founded by students and was centered around students, which we still hold students very dearly, when we acquired Kufa and COVID happened, all the students were at home. So our audience became campus leaders like yourself who are doing the work with food pantries and other anti-hunger programming. And so that is how we are where we are today. Swipe Out Hunger and what we look like today. AC. We have now, branched off a little bit more than the meal swipe program, right? So we are now full blown on campus solutions. We have a slew of them, and I'll go over them in a second. And then we have the advocacy and policy programs. We'll also go over in a second, where it stretches beyond Hunger Free Campus Bill being passed in California. Give us time, we'll get there. And then most importantly for us is community building, right? I've done the work that you all are doing. I worked at Chicago State in the Women's Resource Center for a long time. I felt alone in that world, and I can't speak for all of you all, but I know what it's like in higher education where you get tasked with the basic needs and you get tasked with the food pantry. You are sometimes the only person outside of your student workers that you kind of adopted who are doing this work. And so we build community amongst each other, amongst our network partners, and amongst, other community stakeholders and corporate partners. We are now a network of almost close over 900, right? So we have 900, as of this morning, we have 905 campus partners, colleges and universities across the country. So we've grown a lot. And so just a few ways that we were talking about on-campus solutions. So I won't read this entire slide to you, but we have different ways of being engaged, right? So we have the Slack community. So digital communities where you can connect with one another. And then we have affinity groups and advisory groups. So we have the Leadership Council and we have the BIPOC Affinity Group. Those are ways we meet often, we connect with each other, share best practices. And then we also do convenings where we meet virtually. So we have, in October, we're going to have a tri-state of the East Coast. I learned that there's more than one tri-state earlier today. So we have the tri-state of the East Coast happening in October. And then in January, we're having another one for Illinois. And in March, we're having one for HBCUs. So we try to have it where you all connect with others who are in your same region or of your same special designation so you can share best practices and connect with one another. And then, like today, we have our swipe sessions. We do them every month, second Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock Central Time. We have different subject matter experts, different topics. So stay connected with us on that. And then if you ever need time to talk one-on-one, something that's happening on your campus, because what we say is that if you've seen one college food pantry, you've seen one college food pantry. None of you all are the same. That's the reality of it. None of you all are operating the same. None of you all have the same president or provost that you have to talk to. None of you all are operating the same. So if you ever have a one-on-one situation that you need some consulting with, we're always available for that. And then, of course, our guides and our toolkits, as well as, I would be remiss not to mention our swipe grant cycle, which is coming up soon. I'll mention that soon. And then, of course, our corporate partners and discounts, connections that we make with community partners. So these are all ways for on-campus solutions. I'm going to send this deck out after swipe session. All of these are clickable. So all of these links, if you want to get to the swipe sessions or the toolkits, all of these links are clickable. And like I mentioned, we are, an avid student focused organization. We were built on students. We still believe students are the center of who we are. The students are why we're here. So student leadership and support is a really big deal for us. We have our SWIPE chapters, which are student organizations on each campus. We have our SWIPE Leadership Advisory Council, which is a small council of students across the country. Please be sure to recommend them as that application will open in about a week or so. But it's a stipend program where we help them get involved in food justice. And so we also do student convenings and student swipe sessions and just student involved programming. So if you ever want to get connected in that way, at the bottom you'll see where we have our student page. Click on that as well. And then these are all the content. I mentioned the swipe sessions. I want to make sure that you all know we have a YouTube. It's our YouTube playlist is what we call it. But all of the swipe sessions of the past have been recorded and they have been uploaded onto our YouTube channel and then linked on our website. So please feel free to check them out. Most times, something that you're thinking about, you're like, how do I write this funding or how do I connect with my dining provider? There is a swipe session on it. I promise you we covered it at some point. How do I build a community garden in the backyard of my building? We covered that too. So, and if you have any ideas of something that we didn't cover, I am always open for suggestions and volunteers. Just FYI. Okay. And then just a pretty little graphic about our swipe sessions. Make sure that you attend. Shameless plug, our next swipe session that's happening September 9th, which is the second Tuesday of the month at 1 p.m. Central, will be all about our grants. It's our grants Q&A. Don't miss that one. That one's a good one. So make sure you RSVP so you can get the link. But September 9th, 1 p.m. is our grant cycle. And then, of course, we work really hard. Our team works really hard on our toolkits. This is my favorite toolkit, funding your security program, food security program, because that is the number one question we get. And that's also the number one challenge that most of you all share with us is that funding your program is the biggest obstacle. So this is just, a toolkit on different templates and different grants and different processes that you can go through to try to raise funds for your programming. And then the Slack channel. Connect with us. Don't feel like you have to be alone. Don't feel like you have to, kind of figure this out by yourself. You can always question, shoot each other questions and then shoot us questions. You can start conversations. Also, this is clickable when I send this out. And before I jump into this, I just want to say that one question I get, and it's always shocking to me, but I forget to say it every time. One question I get about Swipe Out Hunger, especially from newer people or newer partners, is how much does all of this cost? Swipe Out Hunger is an open education resource. Nothing costs anybody anything. Everything is free. We are happy to push the needle forward when it comes to food justice and food security on our college campuses. But Sydney, it cannot possibly be all free. The only thing that we ask every year, we send out a campus leader survey. And we ask that you fill this out because it helps us, help you, it helps the entire country, this whole ecosystem of food justice. It helps us all. The campus leader survey is about a 20-minute survey, which asks, we ask questions like, how many students did you serve? How many pounds did you give away? What's your budget for the year? Do you get any help from the grants, department? Do you get any help from the federal government? We want to know these things so that when we go to our legislators and when we go to our funders and we are asking for this, we can say, hey, listen, 16 schools in California filled this out and they serve 90,000 students. And so here's the numbers. This is their budget. This is how much they have to work with. Here is their percentage of, Pell eligible students. We need the money for this reason, and we need to support them for this reason. We need the legislators to pass this bill for this reason. So, yes, we are asking you all to fill this out once a year. It also opens up on September 3rd, the same day as the grants. Shameless plug. Can't apply for the grant without filling out the campus leader survey. Yes, we dangled that carrot. But if you are a newer partner and your pantry is not at a place where you are tracking these things yet, it is okay. We will meet you where you are. There's always an option to say, hey, my pantry has not grown to the point of tracking just yet. Right now, we're just a closet that has some cans on the shelf. I understand. We understand. We want to hear that too because that helps us say, hey, there's a school with 20,000 students that only has a closet with cans. I'm going to step off of this soapbox right now. But the campus leader survey is also something that's really, really important. And this dashboard that I'm sharing, it is something that we put out every year so that you can then like filter it down to just your state or just your, region to find out how many people are being served, how many students are being served, how many meals are being enabled, what's the funding median. These are usually numbers that you have to take back to your admin. And when you want to say like, hey, 15 other schools in our state have a budget of about $15,000. Why do I only have a budget of $3,000? So this is also clickable. Take a moment and poke around here when I send this deck out for you all, but also fill out the campus leader survey. And I'm going to step off my soapbox and I'm going to turn the mic over to Jay. Jay is from our advocacy department, and he's going to share with you all about how Swipe Out Hunger has now taken a really big step into the advocacy world.
Yeah, thank you, Sydney. Nice to see you all again, and it's great to meet you if I have not yet. I see a lot of familiar names, which is really great, and a lot of new names, which is even better. So my name is Jay. I am the Great Lakes Advocacy Organizer at Swipe Out Hunger. I've been in Swipe Out Hunger in my current role for just over a year, but I actually started working with Swipe Out Hunger as a student. You can see myself in this photo in the background here when I was an undergrad at Michigan State University. And today I'm going to be giving you all kind of a brief rundown on our advocacy initiatives. You can page forward. Thank you. So why does Swipe Out Hunger do advocacy? You just heard about a lot of the amazing program solutions that we're able to offer. So where does advocacy fit into this, and why is this something that we're focused on? Advocacy is really essential because without this kind of larger systems change, there's really no way for an organization like ourselves to meet the level of need that exists. So to give some context to that, if you look at the graph here on the right of this slide, if you combined all of the food distributed by food banks, private charities, and nonprofits, that would only provide 1/20th of what the federal and state governments are able to provide, which, as we know, all of that together is still not enough to meet the level of need that currently exists, right? So we really need advocacy and to work with legislators to show this level of need that students and campuses are facing in order to get resources on a scale to make this more sustainable change on this really systematic level. So how do we do that? At Swipe Out Hunger, we really strive to make sure that students are the ones that are leading these conversations. We like to say that students are themselves are the experts on student hunger, and the most important work that we can do as an organization is really to get students in the rooms with legislators to talk about their experience and the barriers that they're facing on their campus that prevents them from being so successful in their education. If you've ever heard the phrase "nothing about us without us," that's kind of the guiding framework that we use for all of our work, but especially with our advocacy of making sure that we have these students in the room talking about what resources they need and what's going to be the best for them to be successful. And to talk a little bit more about what that actually looks like, so if you could go to the next slide. Our advocacy really focuses around a piece of legislation that we have drafted called the Hunger-Free Campus Bill. We're the original architect of the piece of legislation, and what the Hunger-Free Campus Bill does basically is send state funding. It's a state piece of legislation that sends funding to colleges and universities to address student hunger through on-campus solutions. We really believe that that on-campus solution to student hunger is the best way to reach the most number of students, and giving campuses more resources to be able to do that is really the way to tackle this problem. So since its passage in California, where it first started, each state who has adopted the legislation has been able to customize it to meet their unique needs and meet the problem where it is in their state. And what it really does is the bill enables colleges to do a couple targeted things, but also be flexible. So some of the major targets are expanding or establishing on-campus food pantries. Like Sydney mentioned earlier, this is really great. We've had a lot of folks join us after COVID, and also incredibly, we've seen so many campuses establish their pantries around that same time. So a lot of campuses at this point are using Hunger-Free Campus fundings to expand their existing programs and their existing pantries, which is a lot different conversation than we were having a couple of years ago. So it's really great to see that progression even without Hunger-Free Campus, right? Some of the other things that can be used for is establishing a meal swipe donation program, which can look a couple different ways depending on the campus. That can either be with dining providers or looking like a grocery store gift card distribution, depending on if that works better for the campus. And then the biggest thing, or not the biggest thing, but the other big thing is creating SNAP enrollment opportunities for students. We know that students are incredibly under utilizing resources like SNAP that could be really beneficial to them. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is state resources to help address hunger. So we hope to get folks on campuses that can reach out to students and help them apply for things like SNAP, know when they are eligible, how to access those resources, and also how to access the other resources that exist on their campus as well. So those are sort of main targets of Hunger-Free Campus, but also, like we say, the funding is flexible because we understand that not just every state, but every campus is going to have different needs, right? So we try as much as possible not to tell them this is how to solve your problem, because there's really no way to put one Band-Aid over a solution that is a million different cracks. So yeah, and then Hunger-Free Campus right now, if you can page forward, thank you. We are just about at half the country has had some sort of advocacy movement in it. So I believe right now we're at 11 states that have passed hunger-free campus in some way, and then 11 that have introduced it. Some are in a little bit of a middle gray area because policy is weird and funky, but we've been able to do some really, really great work and get a lot of funding to colleges and universities. And in total, more than $112 million have been distributed through hunger-free campus legislation. So we've had a really, really big impact, and we're growing every single year. I think since I started, like I said, I started about 3 years ago as a student. I think at the time we were at 5 passed and 5 introduced. So in that time frame, we've been able to grow that much in our policy, which is really, really exciting. And I think we have one more slide here. So yeah, if you want to get connected with our advocacy specifically, I have a couple things here for you. And like Sydney said, all these links are clickable. We have a toolkit for how to advocate for change specifically on your campus. So that's something that we kind of work with folks on too, is we have the advocacy at the state level, the federal level, the policy level, but also advocacy on your own campus for increasing your resources is equally as important. So we have a toolkit here to kind of build some of those strategies for how to build those coalitions on your campus, how to start having those conversations. We also have a brand new resource, our advocacy newsletter, which is going to be going out regularly with updates on hunger-free campus policy and other opportunities. And then the last thing is just reach out to our advocacy team. You can find more information on our Swipe Out Hunger website, or you can reach out to the advocacy team, advocacy@swipehunger.org. And I think that's everything that I have. So thank you, Sydney.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Again, the advocacy team is so amazing, and you should see some of the footage that we get back when they go to the Capitol and they have their lobby days. The students are so excited. It's an amazing moment. And so I look forward to you all getting more involved with the advocacy department. Again, one of the greatest things for me, it's probably I'm being biased because it's my favorite thing. I love being able to connect our campuses to our different resources, right? Because we know that the resources are probably the bane of your existence and what you spend most of your time trying to go after. So we have resources and we do the work when we connect you with swipe grants and we connect you with corporate partners who are doing employee volunteer days and the toolkits and the newsletters. And so one of my favorite things is being able to connect the network with a partner who has come in and said like, hey, because you're a Swipe Out Hunger members and we're going to build a great relationship, I want to talk directly to your network to introduce them to this thing that could help their work just a little bit easier. And so that's what we're going to do now. I want to be able to turn this over to, well, before I do that, let's pause for a second. Before I turn this over to our resource spotlight, I want to pause. I want to find out if we have any questions that, we want to jump in front of that's just burning a hole in your pocket right now and kind of make this a little bit more of an interactive conversation. Anyone? You can come off mute. Or I'm going to go through the chat and see if there was any questions. Don't make me call on people. Okay, well, as you think of questions, what I want to do is I want to introduce our resource spotlight, which is something that we commonly do. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, so from Christine, any tips for talking with financial aid about swipes?
Absolutely. That's a question that happens quite often. We're actually drafting some language around it right now because it's something that there has been a hiccup there. That's the word I'm going to use. There has been a hiccup in the understanding around why swipes should not impact a student's financial aid. Emergency assistance should not impact a student's financial aid. We have language around it. We have, language that we would love to give you all so that you all can take it to financial aid. And we've had this question several times. Schools come to us and say, hey, the financial aid office is saying that if we give swipes or food pantry assistance, that it will affect their financial aid. And once we give them the documentation that we found and the misinterpretation that they have, they usually are okay with it. So whoever this is, I would love to be able to connect with you. If you could send me an email, we would love to be able to connect with you as we are trying to draft Swipe Out Hunger large material. I would love to be able to connect with you to get you the material that you need so that you're financially, because I don't think that they mean to do it maliciously. They are just misinterpreting this irresponsible letter that went out from a higher source that people misinterpreted because it was written poorly. Yeah. Any other questions? Absolutely. Okay. Well, as you all think of more questions, in the meantime, one thing that we do at Swipe Out Hunger on a regular basis is that we connect those to our resources, our partner resources, right? So if we are looking to do refrigerated lockers, or if we're looking to, you're looking to get some pantry software to in your pantry so you can track more, we are partnering with those who can help with that. And then they often connect with our partners with a discount or with more information or with more assistance because you are a Swipe Out Hunger member. Well, today we have a resource partner, and they're going to introduce themselves. So Single Stop is here, and they're going to give a little presentation on how they have connected with other schools and how they can potentially help your work be just a little bit easier. And I'm going to turn this over to Tim. Take it away. Oh, did I give you sharing privileges yet? Not yet. Hold on.
I can find out.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
sure. I'm good.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Really appreciate that. Great to meet everyone. Really appreciate the opportunity you're giving us to present here and take up just a few minutes of your time. I promise 10 minutes tops here. My name is Tim Lytle. I am the Director of Partnerships at Single Stop. I am joined by Lee Carr, who is our manager of partnerships, or partner manager, sorry, and Steve Williams, who is our CEO. And they're waving there. I'm going to share out and talk you a little bit through Single Stop and what we do here. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's taking up my entire screen. Sorry. There we go. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm sorry, folks. I practiced and then all of a sudden my 3 screens are giving me trouble. Here we go. We'll just do this. Okay. Sorry. Notes. I'm so sorry, guys. Here we go. Okay. All right. Again, thanks for giving us the opportunity here to present. So Single Stop is a mission-driven nonprofit. We work with schools all across the country. Okay, we count them as partners, from small community colleges to large 4-year institutions, to entire state systems and even nationwide systems. So schools that cover the entire country even. Our stated mission, which you can kind of see there, is effectively connecting and helping schools connect their students to benefits and resources. And I think this next part is key in order to help students persist and graduate, right? We help address and connect students to basic needs supports in order to help them succeed, okay? There is obviously, as has been highlighted on here already, a bit of a gap. I know Jay mentioned that SNAP is, what did he say, under-resourced, right? And so that is definitely something we help address. The process right now for an individual student to sort of determine what's available to them is broken, at most, at least very, very difficult to navigate, especially if you're a student with other circumstances. You work full time, you're a parent, right? That leaves you with not as much time to sit around and dream up and figure out how you can get help. Right now, if you wanted, if you're a student and you wanted to see all the benefits you're eligible for, state and federal benefits, you're going to be doing several, maybe 10, 15 applications, some of them very, very confusing. They're government forms. So they ask for a bunch of personal information right away, and they give you very little in return. And so you're then potentially waiting, 1, to see if you filled it out correctly, right? And 2, if you qualify for benefits. Only at that point can you then sort of plan, an attack, how you're going to attack the problem through these benefits and resources. So I think, we say down here the cost of this, missed benefits, financial struggles, unfulfilled potential, how that translates to you all is students don't persist. They drop out of school, plain and simple. They do not graduate. They do not remain with your institution. I'm sure you have anecdotal stories of that very thing happening. So let's just talk a little bit sort of where we come in this instance and sort of what our platform will help achieve. Starting here with our screener, I've already mentioned this, but we screen for 20 to 27 state and federal benefits in about 10 minutes. Okay. So a student at the end of the 10 minutes will know exactly what they qualify for and how much. Okay. So, think about, I think, when Jay mentioned earlier, they're under-resourced. This is the difference between telling a student, you should apply for SNAP and see if you're eligible, right? And do this 10-minute screener and you are going to get $180 a month should you go ahead and apply, right? It's just a much nicer, easier starting point for an individual. Along with the screener, and just to underscore, we're talking SNAP, Medicaid, if they're a parent, WIC, free lunch, tax credits, veterans benefits. I'm forgetting a lot, but it runs the gamut of what's available at the state and federal level in the benefit screener. Our resource map is very unique. It is nationwide. It's in every single zip code. It's searchable. It's sortable. It is a really great fit for students with a wide range of needs, and it allows the school and the student to be connected with a benefit or an organization or service that is near them or across town that they maybe didn't even know about, and can help them again for their unique situation, really help them persist and succeed. For you all in this room, we have a case management piece and then a reporting piece as well. Case management would allow you to sort of track and manage getting students the help that they need. And then the reporting, and we'll show you some numbers here in a moment, but reporting really is going to help you tell the story, right? Tell the story of what you all are doing for the students, right? I know that is potentially a challenge when you have these programs and the administration, the public, prospective students, legislators, of course, they're like, well, what are you doing with this money? Like, well, what are you doing with this program? And so we really make it easy for you in dollars and cents to talk about that. I'll share just a few metrics here, and then we'll take some questions. But there's a few here you can read, so I won't go over all of them. But the most important one here, I think, is 20,000 per household on average. Okay, and that is across all of our customers. So think about the students on your campus, the students that would potentially screen, and then just multiply that number by 20,000, and you're going to get a big number. And it may seem wild, like, whoa, that's millions of dollars, but it's true across our partners. And so that is a total number of eligibility benefits made available to your students. And we also track what they're already receiving and what they're getting on top of or new potential benefits that you're helping them connect to. Okay, so you have a really great story with some big dollars to talk about in your success. And all this kind of leads into one thing I'll leave you with, which is unclaimed benefits every year. Just at the federal level, this number down here, 140 billion. Okay, that's just the federal level. It doesn't aggregate all of the state benefits that are legislated for, budgeted for. They're sitting there waiting for people to use them, and they're going unclaimed. Just think about, as Jay mentioned, the SNAP going underutilized. This isn't some abstract concept of, this will change if we do these slight things. It's money for food for your people. It's very, very simple in that regard. So, yeah, that's really all I have. Just, benefits are out there, they're unclaimed, and getting them along with the resources, local resources, is going to help your students persist, graduate, and succeed. And that's that. Stop. I think questions are flying in. I'm seeing them.
Nothing about single stop just yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've
Sorry.
been trying to monitor the chat. I'm trying to be on top of it. Nothing about single stop just yet, but this is a really great insight into your software. Are there any questions? Is anyone here already using single stop? Let's do that. No? Okay. But were there any questions around implementing single stop on your campus, or did you have any questions around anything? Okay. Well, if you think of some later, please reach out and let us know. In the meantime, I definitely want to make sure that I share. Again, I'm going to send this deck out later, but I saw in the chat some of you all were saying that you were not partners just yet. No worries, we have space. So right here, you'll see the link that says partnership agreement. Please fill it out. Again, we are a free, open education resource, and the asked that we asked about the campus leader survey, and we asked to put your logo on our website. I'm bringing these two things up because these are the two things that are most common with getting signatures from your school. These are two things that can be worked around. If you are not collecting and you cannot fill out the campus leader survey just yet, you can still be a partner. If your school won't sign off on us putting your logo onto the campus, onto our website, we can work it out. No worries. We will figure all this out. But I don't want you or your students to not have the resources that we have available because of the red tape and the barriers that higher education has placed on us sometimes. So please follow us on our IG page and our TikTok page and Twitter account. And then, of course, always please subscribe to our newsletter. Jay plugged the advocacy newsletter. We also have the campus leader newsletter, which keeps you up to date with the latest site session and the latest resource. And when we make more partners, I want to be able to connect you to those. And then, when you want to connect into the Slack community, being able to connect with each other. Were there any questions as we had time to kind of process a little bit? Not to rush you. I just want to make sure that I am giving the space for you to ask the questions that you have. I'm okay with uncomfortable silence. Just saying. Implementing app for food sources on campus. Forget what it's called. Can you share the dates for the upcoming grant cycle? So the grant will go live on September 3rd, and it will be open for 6 weeks. Don't make me lie to you about what that date is. 6 weeks from the September 3rd, it will be open. I think that's October 14th. Don't make me lie to you. But those are the dates for the application to be open. But yes, the grants will go live on September 3rd. You will be able to click on it on our website. You'll be able to click on it on our newsletter. You'll be able to get to it various places. And the frequently asked questions webinar will be September 9th. So our swipe sessions are the second Tuesday of every month, September 9th at 1 p.m. Central Time. The next one is on September 9th, and it will be on the on grants. Everything grants, all grants. Stephanie, that varies based on so many things, right? How big the pot is, how many applicants we have, what the need is that we see, so that it hasn't been a consistent number. And I don't want to lie to you and promise one number and then we do less or more. But it's always a couple of different variations, different factors. The link will be available also on the link to register will be available soon. But it will be out when I send out this deck to everyone. It's going to, when you click on the next swipe session, that will be the link for the September 9th. I just don't have it on me right now. That's why I'm going to send it out in the link. No worries. In the deck. Any other questions? Was anyone here new? How about that? I just want to know. Was there any newbies here today? Yay, we have newbies. That's great. By chance, do you all want to share how you found us? That's a lot of newbies. Whoa. You all want to share how you found us?
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Gadira. I'm from the College of Charleston. I think I found you by just research. I work at the Office of Community Engagement. We are a new office here at the college. Previously, we were Office of Institutional Diversity, so we kind of like switched our work. This year, we're working on food insecurity. So I think during my research, that's how I ended up in Swipe for Hunger. I do know that our college is part of the group, but I'm not sure who the contact person is. I still have not found this out.
Mhm.
I do have a question for Tim. When you talked about the one stop, is this like a software or what is it exactly? Because I know that one problem that is facing, I believe, many campuses is the lack of data. And we don't know who is actually facing food insecurity. And a lot of people from the research that I did do not know what even food insecurity is.
Mm.
Most people know that food insecurity, like I'm not eating enough. Well, it's rather the quality of food rather than what you are actually eating. So I'm doing a lot of research in this lately, so I was wondering if you could just let me know how, if we want to implement the one stop, what it is exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great questions. I heard a few in there. So single stop. So for the first one around what exactly it is, good reminder to maybe start there. We are a nonprofit, but it is a technology platform. Okay, it's a piece of software that you log into. There's no install, download, anything like that. You log in, and the way you present this to students is just through a link, a custom link that we make with you. Okay, custom branded to your institution, and then you can put QR codes around campus. You can email it out. Some schools even make it as a part of the sort of orientation and onboarding for a student to fill it out. So that's the first thing of what it is. I think you talked about data. We report on a ton of data, benefits, of course, and eligibility, but also, there's demographic questions. So you can really get a good sense of your students going through the screener, who they are, what they're like, issues they're facing. You can also add custom questions. If you wanted to ask the question, for instance, are you even aware of what food insecurity is, right? That's not what we see often, but the point is you can add those questions to get the data that you want out of the screener as well.
Perfect. Is it possible that you share your email on the chat?
Yeah.
Maybe we can follow up on emails.
Absolutely. I'm putting it in
Thank
there
you
right
so
now.
much.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we're just at singlestop.org as well. Easy way to find us, but there's my email.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
And because I was, I had a quick second while Tim was answering the question, I'm going ahead and put the September swipe session registration link in the chat as well. So feel free to register, but again, it will go out. It will be a part of this deck that I send out later. It will be in the newsletter that's going to come out soon. It will be everywhere that you need it to be. I appreciate you all so much for coming out. I definitely know how busy everyone, especially the beginning of the school year. So I know how busy everyone is, and so I'm very grateful that you took the time to meet with us today. And I look forward to a very exciting, very intentional and impactful school year. And I'm here to help you all. If you all need any of us, we're just an email away. So definitely reach out if you run into, a roadblock. We love to be able to support and advocate for you all, and help with this mission as you all work to help the students get what they need to be successful. Thank you all so much. You all have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.